Thank you for joining me today on Good News with Twanda Black, where we're discovering some of the most inspiring trials to triumph stories and empowerment moments. Call up a friend and let them know it's time for some good news. Hello and welcome to Good News with Twanda Black. I am your host, and we talk with folks from all walks of life about their good news, because ultimately, if your brothers and sisters are having some great things happening in their life, it's good news for you as well, right? All right, now sit back, relax, and enjoy my next guest. Joining us today is Roshawn Nicole. She's a singer, songwriter, actress, educator, mental health and wellness speaker, and she's also the Praise Factor Awards New Artist of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. First of all, you brought to Atlanta, to the Praise Factor Awards, your full self. Every performance, you gave a testimony, you talked about your life, and then you gave us what you gave us on the stage and performing. But we loved your energy, your lightness, and when you're talking about such a heavy testimony.
Yes.
But you brought that lightness to it, and I want to say we appreciate you. New Artist of the Year, you are so deserving. Talk about your experience here.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me on, Miss Twanda. So, such an honor. My experience at the Praise Factor was such an amazing experience, just to be able to have that space as an indie artist and to perform or minister and to be able to share my testimony. And it was just great to meet other like-minded individuals and artists who are talented, so many amazing people. And I love the opportunity to just get to network and get feedback and talk about us collaborating together. And so I'm so grateful for that opportunity, and I hope to be a part next year as well. So yes, yeah.
Were you surprised that you won New Artist of the Year?
I was just grateful to be there and just to be nominated. When I found out that I was nominated earlier this year, I was just like, oh my gosh, thank you, Jesus. I'm like, people do love me, and so, right. I was like, people do. Okay, let me keep doing what I'm doing. And so I was just grateful just to be nominated. And then when they called my name, not only once, but twice, I was like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
Somebody said, they were like, Roshawn, you were just sitting there for a second, because when they called my name, I was just like, they called me,
Right.
Very surprised and grateful, for just, winning. And, like I said, just being there was just truly a blessing. And
what was the second award?
Urban Artist of the Year. So New Artist of the Year and Urban Artist. Yes. Yeah. That was the first one they called too of night. So I was just like sitting there like, oh my God.
It was so funny. I was on the side of the stage and I saw you and I was like, did she realize they called her name?
Yeah, right. I just kind of sat there like, oh, they called me. And then I was like, oh, they called me.
You talked about while you were here, and I'm sure you probably share this all over the world because it's what you're supposed to do. But talk about your testimony for a moment.
Yeah. So my testimony, I'm going to go all the way back to 2012, where I was very sick, very ill. I went into the ER. They, scanned my stomach because I was having stomach issues. And so it come to find out that my appendix was enlarged. It's supposed to be a pinky. It was a whole size of a hand. Wow. And part of my colon was also inflamed and enlarged. So they had to go in and cut me and take out the appendix and my part of my colon. And so a surgery, typically someone's in the hospital for about a week. Well, come to find out, I was in ICU for 30 days. Each time they had to perform 2 more surgeries within that 30-day span. And so each time they did my surgeries, they told my family, prepare for Roshawn. She may not make it. What happened was, where they took out the infected colon, when they reconnected me, I had leaks. And so my body was becoming poison or toxic.
Yes.
And it's called septic. And so
Mhm.
typically there is a small percentage of people who, who survive
That's
that.
right.
So
That's
yeah.
right.
And so I had, when I was in the hospital, they gave me a temporary ileostomy or a bag. I don't know if you're familiar with that. And
I am very familiar with that.
so they said, Roshawn, you may have to have this the rest of your life, or it may be temporary. And so I'm sitting there, I'm just like, what? I'm just like, what's going on? And so when I left out of the hospital, I still wasn't in the clear, just very sick, and it took me some time to heal. And so I was dealing with flashbacks of my surgery and my near-death experience, because I remember everything. I remember me just being so sick. I felt like I was dying. And so they prescribed me sleeping medication to sleep at night for the PTSD. I suffered from anxiety and depression because I didn't know if I had to live with the ileostomy for the rest of my life, just not knowing that. And so, in hindsight, the prescription should have been go and seek counseling for what they didn't prescribe that. And so as at night, I couldn't sleep. So I'm taking my sleeping medication, and then, weeks would go by and it wasn't really working. And so, I'm drinking at night. So 1 cup turned into 2 to 3 to 4. To a whole bottle, and more. And so I'm just trying to knock myself out so I'm not dealing with flashbacks and my anxiety and everything. And so thank God, after 6 months, they were able to, take the bag and reconnect my colon. But I'm still suffering. I'm still seeing those flashbacks. So year after year, Twanda, I suffered in silence for 9 years. Wow. I put on a face, and I'm such a good actress. But I'm not drinking during the day, but at night, I just need to knock myself out. And so 2020, the end of 2020, I remember it was New Year's Eve. And so I was at my sister's house. She's my angel. And I just told my sister, I was like, I can't do this anymore. My family knew that I was going through. They just didn't really know the extent, they didn't know the extent. And so I said, I can't do this. And so I told her everything. And so she's a nurse, and she found a facility for me. And so I went into treatment at the beginning of 2021 from January to March. And the program is it's just this amazing facility in Edmonds, Washington. People fly all over the world to go to this facility. And so the program is 4 weeks, but I told them, I said, no, I need 2 months, just to heal and just be delivered and set free. It's a faith-based facility as well. So, prayer and Christian counselors and everything. And so when I was in the facility is when I started writing. And so I wrote Wounded Scars and Free. And when I wrote those songs, I didn't think they were going to be songs. And so I was just writing what I was feeling in the moment. And so I remember I was in the Zen room. And so it was like it's day 3. And I'm just writing, the silence is loud. I don't know what to do with myself. Depression is real, like a cloud hanging over me. Been medicating myself to numb the feelings. It's not working anymore. So I just kept writing. The next day, I'm reading it and I get this melody, and I was like, oh wow, this is a song, So it came to me like that. But I was talking to God, and I was like, God, this is great, but what do you want me to do with this? Because I didn't want to release it. I didn't want people to know what I was going through. Hardly anyone knew that I was even there at the facility. And so I said, thank you, God, but God was speaking to me while I was there. And he was like, Roshawn, this healing is it's not for you. It's for other people. There's so many people suffering in silence, especially in the Christian community. They need to hear your testimony, your music. And so when I left out of the facility after 2 months is when a week later I went to the studio and I said, okay, God, okay, I trust you, Lord. Wow. And so as I released my music, healing was just coming. And then, speaking to different organizations and churches and now schools and just talking about just overcoming obstacles and trials. And I love it because I just see God working, through these people and working through me to be able to share not only my music, but my testimony for healing and deliverance. So
what a testimony. Now, have you always been an artist? Have you always been singing?
I have, and looking back, I've been recording in the studio for about 20 years, and, as a teen and in my early 20s and everything, but I didn't take it seriously. It was just something that I loved to do. It was more of just like a, kind of a hobby. I'll release something here and there. But when I released this music is when I found my purpose, and is when I said, okay, this is my ministry, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And so it was just this total switch from like hobby to ministry.
Wow. Well, because it's wrapped up in your testimony and it was something that you lived, your experience.
Absolutely.
So that's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. We love both of the songs. I think you gave both of the songs. They are amazing. So what's your writing process like now after, being out of the facility? Because that's when you wrote your hits. But
Right.
you have a process now for writing?
You know what? I actually don't, because songs will come to me either way. So sometimes I'll just sit and write, and I'll have lyrics, and then a melody will come to me. Or sometimes, like, I'll work with my producer, and he'll have a track, and I'll just write to it. So honestly, it's just God just gives it to me either way. Or I'm dreaming and I'll have a melody or some lyrics, and I'll wake up and I'm like, okay, let me write this down, or let me record this. So I don't have a specific way. It's just the way that God gives it to me. Yeah.
How you're a school teacher, you work in the educational industry.
Yeah.
How has your experience helped you be able to deal with teachers that you're mentoring, or even students that you've had to be a part of their lives? Because you're not just a teacher today. I was just at a panel, and the teachers were talking about these were superintendents, top level, and the questions were asked: how do you protect the teachers in this environment? Because they've made it so that the kids can act out on you, but you can't do anything to them.
Right.
So the teachers don't feel safe. And then how do you just teach without having to be mama, daddy, counselor, nurse? Because y'all all of that.
Oh, for sure.
You guys are all of that. So how did your experience help you in your educational walk?
Yeah, when I was in the classroom, being an educator, like you said it, you're everything. You're the mom, you're the dad, you're the counselor, and so it can be very taxing. It really can, especially if you have a family at home and then going home and taking care of your family. And so I would just say, like, my experience has definitely helped me, because now that I'm mentoring teachers, I'm able to really relate to them. I share my story. It's out there, it's in the public. And I tell them, I had struggles, and you might be struggling now with your class or whatever you're struggling with in life. But I just kind of let them know about my story, and I'm always supporting them and saying, how are you feeling today? Let's talk about, before we even talk about the classroom, how are you feeling? What are you doing, to take care of yourself? And so that's always like the first thing on the top of my list. And sometimes we may not get to the classroom conversations, because that might be what's on their mind, and they may need to share, because in order for them to be successful, we do have to deal with, how can I help you? How are you doing? And so I will talk about different steps, like, are you taking care of yourself? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating healthy? Are you drinking water? And so I would just say, like, I'm able to really support them just by just asking those questions, letting them know that I care, because being a year 1 teacher is what I support in year 2 and year 3 as well. Can be a lonely feeling, not really knowing how to advocate for yourself as an educator, who to go to. So I'll provide those resources, as far as like resources in the district, and even sometimes some resources to support them outside of the district as well. I even have a list of counselors that they can speak to, therapists. So I'm there for them in all capacity. I get phone calls sometimes at night, and Roshawn, I can't do this. And I'm like, you can do this. You can. Let's talk about why. Why are you feeling this way right now? And just really supporting them, and just having a conversation, and just being, relatable to the teacher.
Yeah, you got to think that that's a whole person. So sometimes you don't separate what you do in your family life, or there's no separation.
For sure.
So, how do you juggle all of that? And first year teachers, the attrition rate is crazy, because they're like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. So it's good that you're able to support them in that way, because everybody needs it, certainly.
Everybody.
Everybody needs it. Roshawn, what's new on the horizon? Are you writing new music? Are you getting ready to do a new project? Or are we in the new project right now?
Yeah, so I am back in the studio, so I'm doing some writing, and next week I'll be speaking to different elementary schools and encouraging students, elementary students, about overcoming obstacles and trials. And so they want me to actually come in my Praise Factor outfit. They told me, they said come in your dress and bring your awards and your trophies, and because some principals found out about it, of course. So I said, okay, I'll do that. So I'll be at 3 different schools next week and share my experience and my story. And another thing is also I am in a certification program to become an FDNP, and that's a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. When I share my story with the public, I always found out that sharing my story, my music, that something was missing. And so last year I enrolled to be a practitioner or a certified health coach, so then I can take on clients individually or in group settings to really hone in on their health, because I don't want to just tackle the spiritual side, but also the natural side, and I'll be able to run labs on individuals and give them a specific protocol. My niche would be like the mental health aspect or the digestive issues, but I can help people of all different ailments that they may have. But I really want to help people, so singing, share my story, but also providing that service as well. And so hopefully I'll be.
That's phenomenal. I went to someone like that.
Okay, yeah.
She changed my life. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really awesome. Yes, yeah. Because a lot of times people don't recognize sometimes the things that you eat may have some kind of chemical reaction.
Absolutely.
In your brain, your body, and you're not sure where's this coming from. But you're eating that food or eating that one object. It could be wheat, it could be grain, it could be dyes, it could be anything. Yeah. That's amazing. That's going to be great, Roshawn, to add to and that's a holistic approach. To be able to add to that.
Yes, looking at the whole body, and we'll all have functional labs. So I'm really excited, because I'm actually taking myself through this process as I'm going through the program, so then I can be my own testimony as well. So absolutely.
Tell folks how they can learn more about you, where they can go and see where you're going to be, and music and all of that.
Yes. So I'm available not only just to sing and minister, but also to talk about mental health awareness and wellness, giving talks about healthy lifestyles. You can contact me. My website is RoshawnNicole.com, and that's RoshawNnicole.com. My email to contact me is also RoshawNnicole@gmail.com. You can contact me. I'm on Facebook as Roshawn Johnson. That's my last name. My fan page is also Roshawn Nicole. So either one, my fan page or my personal, I use them interchangeably. And Instagram, Roshawn Nicole. YouTube, Roshawn Nicole. You can find me basically at Roshawn Nicole everywhere. So make it easy for you.
You are so delightful. Thank you so much for joining us today and just sharing your life, being transparent. And really, letting folks know, hey, I went through that, but, look at me now. I'm okay. I mean, not saying you're perfect, but you're not where you used to be, certainly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, Roshawn.
Thank you. I appreciate it. God bless. And God bless you and your ministry as well.
Thank you. See you soon.
All right. See you soon. Bye-bye.
I love her. Look, thank you so much for joining us here on Good News with Twanda Black. If you want to be a guest on the show, you can email me at twandablack@thepgnetwork.org or goodnews@thepgnetwork.org. Watch the show via PGN TV on all your digital streaming apps, or visit us at pgntv.org. We'll see you next time for some good news. God bless you.